Fun fact: the term highland or upland is used to denote any mountainous region or elevated mountainous plateau. Generally speaking, the term upland tends to be used for ranges of hills typically up to 500 to 600 meters, and highland for ranges of low mountains.
Here's a size comparison for the Life+Gear Highland 400. On top right, we have another Life+Gear product, which is one of their glow flashlights. We have the Highland 400. We have the 47's Quark AA Squared Tactical, and the JetBeam BC10. How's it going, everyone? Today I have another flashlight review for you, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at a product from Life+Gear. That is the Highland 400. Now the Highland series from Life+Gear is what they market as their tactical search and rescue or outdoor activity light. And this Highland 400 is kind of a mid-range flashlight in that series, both in size and battery type. So I thought for the first review of a Life+Gear product I'd pick something kind of mid-range just to show you what they offer. They do, however, offer a different line of flashlights that's more along the traditional lines, like this one you see in front of you, and I will share that with you in a different video. Today, let's talk about the Highland 400. Now, this is a larger light, definitely something much larger than you've seen on my channel before, and definitely it's going to have a very different role than any of the smaller EDC flashlights I've rolled in front of the camera previously. Now let's take a look at the light more in depth. First and foremost, the body of the entire light is made out of aluminum, and it is coated with this black non-reflective coating. Now, the coating is held up pretty well. I have dropped it on hard surfaces quite a few times and banged it around. And you can see there's a couple of areas where that coating has started to wear off and show through the aluminum underneath of it. But for the most part, for what I've done to this light and how much I've actually used it, I think it's holding on pretty well, and over time that coating will continue to come off a little bit, but it's really not that much of an issue. Same thing is going to happen with any knife that has the blade coated. Alright, now the aluminum is high quality. It's held up to all the dings and drops that I've put it through. Alright, as we move to the front of the flashlight here, you can see it does have a crenulated bezel, which does look kind of intimidating and can certainly be used in a self-defense application if you need it to. But for the most part, I like it for the simple fact that if you were to put this light down while it was still on, you can see as the light shines through that bezel. Alright, and so you don't let the battery drain completely. Alright, as we take a look at the front of the light, you can see there's 3 separate LEDs with 3 separate reflectors housed behind a plastic or polymer lens. Alright, now granted, I would prefer this be a glass lens just to help protect those LEDs a little bit more, but through the past couple of weeks that I've been testing this light and the many drops that it's gone through, the lens hasn't scratched nor has it broken, so I can't really fault Life+Gear for using a plastic lens because it's held up perfectly fine, to be honest. Okay? So no problem there. As you move farther back on the bezel, you can see this hexagonal shaped portion, which is their anti-roll feature. If you put this light down on a flat surface, it's going to stay, it's not going to roll away. And if it does start to roll, it's just going to roll onto the next flat portion and stop. So that's a great feature that Life+Gear has integrated into this light. As we move farther down, you can see that there is this grip ring here. You've seen this on a couple other flashlights, such as Surefire. They offer it on some of their lights, and it's just another way to hold on to the light, with one hand, so that in any situation where the rest of the light may get wet or any other type of liquid gets on your hands, you just have a better, more secure grip. And you can use it any way you want. I prefer it kind of with my pinky in there. It definitely helps get a good hold onto it, and I know it's not going anywhere. So that's nice. It's integrated into the light. It is not removable, however. As you move further down, here is the activation switch to turn the light on and off, at least the main portion of the light. We have the Life+Gear logo. As we get to the center of the light here, you do see some knurling. It's not overly aggressive, although it does provide sufficient grip when you're holding on to it. Although I have not used this in any wet conditions, I do think it would be adequate and allow you to maintain a solid grip on the flashlight. As you go farther back onto the flashlight here, you come to like the tail cap portion, and this has a extra kind of flashing emergency LED in the back here, and that's activated by a simple push switch on the rear of the light. To access the battery compartment, you simply twist the rear portion of the light until it comes off. This is O-ring sealed, and it exposes 3 C-cell batteries. Now this has 2 different ways to activate the light. One for the main light, right, out the front, or for the emergency flashing mode in the back. First, let's take a look at the main light. Alright, now we're going to have 3 different modes. We're going to have a high, low, and a strobe. That's all going to be activated by this clicky switch up front. Alright, and it's a very simple interface. So all we're going to do is do a full click to turn on the light, and that's going to leave us in high with about 400 lumens of output. Alright, and to switch to each other mode for the Highland 400, we're just going to do a soft press or a half click. Alright, so we're going to do a soft press here, and that's going to put us in our low mode, and then to switch to the strobe, we're going to do another soft press, and that puts us in our strobe mode. Again, we can do a half press to get back to our high, or we can just do a full click to turn the light completely off. As we move back here to the emergency flashing section, alright, we have a clicky switch on the rear of the light that we can depress once to turn the light on constantly, kind of in a standby mode. We can click it again to get a flashing mode, and click it again to turn it completely off. So both light sources, it has a very simple user interface, and it's very easy to get used to. Now let's talk about some possible uses and roles for the Highland 400. Life+Gear markets this as part of their tactical line of flashlights, and if anyone's familiar with my videos, you'll know my stance on the word tactical. I do think this light, however, would excel in a home defense role because of the amount of lumens that it's putting out. If you were to keep this by your bed, on your nightstand, or anywhere close where if you were woken in the middle of the night and you had to illuminate your surroundings quickly, this light would excel. Also, the heft and the crenulated bezel that this light provides would make it a very easy improvised impact weapon. Now, if you're looking for a role for possibly search and rescue, the amount of light that this has, the amount of throw, and the beam that it produces is excellent. So it'd be a definite advantage in that situation, as well as the battery life that accompanies it. However, roles such as camping, if you're doing any camping where you're hiking into your site, or extended multiple day camping, I don't think this is going to be the best option. Because of the weight and because of the size, I think there are better lights out there, possibly even this other offering from Life+Gear that is better suited for those type of tasks. However, if you're doing camping like car camping, where you're just going to pull up to your campsite, unload all your gear, and you don't really have any restraints on size and weight of the gear that you're bringing, this might be a very viable option. But those are just some of the possible roles that I've thought about for this Highland 400. Hope you enjoyed.